Good,
And
because I was going to ask you to blink once if you're good, blink twice if you're not. We can't have another Britney moment.
yeah, I was gonna say you probably cried yourself to sleep that night.
Here I am name dropping him like he's fucking Jesus or something. Damn, and here I am talking about your Yamaha.
Oh God, I thought we were easing into it. Fuck. Am I making you mad?
Welcome to Unshut, a place where if at any point you feel like you need to shut the up, don't.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes. Thank God we don't have to sign language today.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's nice to meet you.
Yes, you too, dude. I've been so excited for this for a minute.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm excited too. It's been a long time since I've done something like this, so I'm super excited.
And it's going to be so fucking unique. You're never going to want to do another interview
Oh,
with
I
anyone
bet.
else.
I bet. I bet. I was looking through your page and I was like, I love your energy. I love how you approach all of it. So I'm excited.
Oh, that means a lot, which is so funny because I had been waiting for this moment for a really long time. And I actually waited a hot minute to reach out because I was like, sometimes we get in our heads and we're like, we're not good enough for this, we're not good enough for that. And I had just been sitting on the idea of hitting you up for a minute. And I'm like, there's no way it's going to happen. There's no way it's going to happen.
Oh, oh my gosh. No, but I hear you. I think I feel that way all the time. So I'm glad you did, and I'm glad we're here.
Hell yeah, same. You're from Jersey, right?
I am, yes.
You ever heard of DJ Lil Man?
No.
You're gonna have to look it up. Every time I hear the word Jersey, I think of this song that's like, watch out for the big girls. Now bang, bang, bang. It's fucking hilarious. It's such an old song. And for some reason, first of all, I can't believe I just did that on camera. I should probably not sing like that ever again. But anytime I hear Jersey, that song plays in my fucking head and I can't get it out. So
That's awesome.
DJ Low Man, he's from Jersey. Look him up later. That song is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Going back to something we were just casually talking about, I want to pick your brain about. Can you
Sure.
think of a moment leading up to where you're at today where you were so in your head about not pursuing something or a project, a song, something that almost didn't come to fruition because you just didn't think it would be worth it, but then you did and it was the best thing ever?
Oh, yeah. I have a funny moment like that's quite recent. Like, I mean, I think the short answer could just be like my career in general, but I just released my debut EP a few months ago. And when I was deciding which songs I wanted on it, I was like, hmm, there's so many that I've made recently that I really like, so maybe I'll just go with the more recent ones. But then I guess like maybe it was like a week before I submitted the project, one of my friends texted me randomly and he resent me this song that I had made like a year and a half ago. And he was like, dude, you need to put this song on the project. And I was like, wow, maybe I should because I hadn't heard it in so long. And I think that that's the cool part when you go back and you listen to songs and that you made in the past and you're like, this one feels a lot different than it initially did. And I'm so glad I did because that song is Hey Violet, and that's by far the biggest song on the project. And it's like, I think my number one song right now that would not have happened if he didn't reach out. So that was the cool moment, definitely.
That's a very fucking cool moment. Like, that was the song that I had come across well, first of all, I did take it back. I did send you a DM on Instagram not too long ago, but then I deleted it. I'm not gonna lie. But but that was initially the song that I was like, I'm gonna fucking write him right now. I'm gonna fucking write him right now because that it just caught my attention. This was without going to your Spotify page, without going to your Instagram or anything like that. But again, going back to like sometimes you just get too in your head. And so then I'm like, nope, let me retract, let me unsend. And so I deleted the message and then fast forward to not necessarily gaining confidence, but also being in a place with, I'm a retired choreographer. I'm starting podcasting and everyone and their fucking mom has one. And so I'm like, you know what? It's not going to hurt if they say no. It's going to hurt more if I look back at this and not do it. And so then I'm like, I found an email instead of DMing and being like fucking tacky. Let me send an email. So that's awesome.
Hell yeah, and I love that. I mean, I think that's such a big lesson that I learned as well. Just not being afraid to take no as an answer. I've had a lot of moments over the last 5, 6 years where people have told me no, and that's just what happens. But you never know unless you go for it, right?
Exactly. And before we literally start to shoot the shit, because I have some things on my notes that reading back this morning, I'm like, I am a hot mess, but I'm keeping on here. But before we do that, I want to kind of like ease you into it. So we're going to start a little lightly,
Sure.
and we don't do shit very traditional here. Like I refused to have guests on when I first put started the podcast and just ask like, what's your favorite song? How was writing this project? I've had a couple of like PR episodes where like I had to ask those things.
Sure.
Listen, this one's not one of them. So
Beautiful.
we're gonna shoot the shit, but I'm gonna ease you into it. So the first thing I want to start off with is you had captioned a childhood picture of you followed by a glow up picture of you, and it said, "I don't even remember the first one." Does your childhood seem like a completely different life?
Oh God, I thought we were easing into it. Fuck. Yeah, it does. And it's crazy. Like, I feel in the last couple years, I really have been in this place where like I miss my childhood so much. And I think that's because 2 years ago I moved away from home and I live in Los Angeles now. So I'm a far away from Jersey and I'm not able to just drive 10 minutes to go see my parents anymore. I think that looking back, even back to when I was a teenager, I'm just like, it feels like a completely different life now, you know?
Do you feel like sometimes, or I don't know if you've heard this often, especially now with the career in the industry that you're in, do you often hear people that say, like, never forget where you came from? I think people mean well when they say it, but I think
Mm.
sometimes we forget that forgetting bad moments of our past is totally okay too. Like I was broke as shit when I was a kid. We were so poor. I didn't know English. I was an immigrant. And so I'm like, I'm not trying to go back and be poor again. So I'm trying to forget that part of my life, but that doesn't mean I forget who I am. How do you
Sure.
deal with that?
I think it's just pretty much as you said, taking the lessons that you learned from those moments and kind of recognizing who you are today because of that is the best way to process those feelings. I try to not think of the guilt that comes with it and what I could have done better when I was younger. I just look at it more like this was all important and supposed to happen the way it did so I can be right here, right now.
Hell yeah. You openly talked about dropping out of school. Was this
Hmm.
something you eventually went back and finished, or are we still in that spot of you dropped out?
So I left high school when I was a sophomore, and I wasn't doing any school for about 2 years. And then ultimately, I decided that I wanted to at least get my GED. So I took a test for that and I did that and I got a state diploma. But that was about it. And that's definitely one of those moments where I'm like, I mean, shit, I look into the future and I'm like, if my kid told me that he's like, oh, I want to leave school right now at 15 and become a musician. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm glad. I'm so glad because I think it was a really interesting decision, but I think it was the best decision I ever made for me. And I think that school is something that is very case by case nowadays. If I'm all for chasing your degree to do what you want to do. I think that's awesome. But if you have a plan to do something and you feel like you can do it without that, give it a shot. I don't think it's everything.
No, for sure. And I love that because I know, so I did finish high school. I had the dream of going to college and doing college. And because of my immigration status at the time, I wasn't able to go to college. But it turned out to be the biggest blessing in disguise for me because,
Mm.
ironically enough, I was able to kick off a career a lot sooner than most people because I didn't pursue college. And so I thought that was so fascinating about you that sometimes when we are young, we really do have an idea of what it is we want to do in life. And maybe it could have been sports, maybe it could have been music, but deep down, we know. And it's one of those situations where when you know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
The one thing I wanted to ask you real quick, and this is just because I did not do a deep dive into it, but just to get it out of the way, you had originally talked in an interview about going from being with a label to being an independent artist. Are you still an independent artist? Are you signed with anyone right now?
No, I'm completely independent. As of early 2023, I've been independent.
Do you feel like you're in a good spot?
Yeah, best I've ever been in.
Good,
And
because I was going to ask you to blink once if you're good, blink twice if you're not. We can't have another Britney moment in our hands. No more Britneys are allowed to come out of this industry.
I know. I'm really glad that that's just kind of, it looks like the tide is shifting towards being independent. And I think it's such a freeing and beautiful thing as a creative to have the tools to do that now.
Yeah, I definitely feel like being backed by a label is definitely not necessarily dated, but I do think that being backed by a label, they haven't figured out how to move with times, if that makes sense. And so I feel like there is a lot of regression that happens with being in a label. And so I'm excited for you to be independent because I think that what you're going to continue to put out and do, I just know it's going to be fucking magic. And I would hate for anyone to fucking hold you back, you know?
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And that's exactly how it feels. You know, we have a very small team, and thankfully the people that I'm with have been the people that have been with me the whole time I've been doing this, and it doesn't even feel like a business operation anymore. Whereas when I was with a label, it definitely felt like a job. I don't feel like I need to impress anybody. I can just do what feels right. And that's a fucking great feeling.
I love that. And I'm glad you mentioned your team because we are going to talk about someone on your team, but I'm not going to tell you who just yet. We'll jump to that in a little bit. But that was it. That was how we were going to smooth into things. I have to share this story with you because so I love to journal, and a lot of journaling that I do has become what's come to fruition with what I'm doing right now. And some of the shit that I write, I definitely don't know where it comes from. I just totally go with the first thing that's on my mind. And I think that is what truly has made some artists coming onto the podcast and feeling like they can just shoot the shit, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing that I journaled heavily with you, and by journaling, I mean like I was just scribbling things that first came to mind. Don't hang up. Whatever you do with anything we do today, just don't hang up. That's just all I ask.
You
So
got it.
I was going through your TikTok and immediately I was like, wow, like I'm so impressed with the fact that you did not have any really like thirst traps on your TikTok. There was like nothing that was like overly sexualized. There was not anything that I felt like, damn, like, all right, he's putting out thirst traps. And you know, you got to do what you got to do to put out your music. I fucking get it.
Sure,
I've said this
sure.
before. If I had a hot bot, I'd be fucking naked on the internet yesterday. So I get it, but I was very proud of you for that.
Thank
However, as I was journaling and scrolling, and I like to scroll and write without looking, I'm going to read to you my notes. Are you ready?
you. Yeah.
No thirst traps. Oh, just kidding. I saw it swinging. Oh my God. Someone in the comments called it a Yamaha. Do you have any idea what comment I'm even referring to?
No.
Okay, that's good because we're not actually going to talk about that post, but what we are going to do is because, and listen, I'm gay as shit. Like, I didn't even know what a Yamaha was until I got on Google because I'm
Yeah.
like, why would someone call it a Yamaha? What is a Yamaha? So I literally was laughing at fucking midnight trying to figure out what a Yamaha was. So we're going to do 7 different names that you can call it. And by it, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to
Yeah.
go first. You're going to go second, and we're just going to do 7 of them.
Yeah.
So I'll go first. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Flip flop,
Rocket launcher.
handle,
Lamborghini.
hot Cheeto,
Hot dog.
rope.
Frank.
That was 7 of them. That was perfect. Awesome.
Beautiful. That felt good. Frank and hot dog that felt pretty similar,
Oh,
but
I
I'm
didn't
okay
even
with
catch
that.
that.
I'm okay with that.
I
I'm
love
okay with
that.
that. I felt good about that.
Lamborghini was my favorite for sure, but I was like, I need to see how
Yeah.
he's going to respond to this because why I came up with this idea for the interview, I don't know. I just write shit
Yeah.
down, you know, but all right. So thank you to whoever
Beautiful.
commented his penis print Yamaha. We appreciate inspiration on the pod.
But what do they mean by Yamaha? Is it like Like I know
Or
like Yamaha like speakers?
no,
Like
so I think it was a motorcycle is what I found on Google.
oh, motorcycle. Yamaha speakers, is that a thing?
I don't
Right?
know. I have no idea.
Okay, so it's a motorcycle. Cool.
At
I
least
like
that's
that.
what
And
I found.
I'm curious what post that was too, because
It's
I feel like
way
that's
back.
like a long time ago.
It was like
Wow.
towards the bottom of like the first TikToks you have on your page, like
Was it like
way back.
pre-COVID?
No, it was post.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a post-COVID comparison. It didn't feel
Hmm.
like pre-COVID.
You made a video like, I don't even remember what you were doing, but you were just standing, but it was a video and you were bulging and someone said Yamaha. And so I just got a fucking kick out of that. So I journaled
That's
it.
awesome. I love it.
But
Thank you for that.
of course, no one freak out. I don't journal about dick on a daily basis. This was just a one-time deal. Something I wanted to ask you based on one of your lyrics. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What would you do if you went on a date and your date said, "When we fuck, I want it to feel like hate"?
I'd be down. Like that's great. That see, like, that wasn't written about somebody that I had just met, but I feel like if I did meet that person and they said that to me, I think we'd go far. I feel like that's what I need in my life at times, you know?
I love that. So, ladies, take notes. Would does it cringe you? Does it make it cringy when you meet someone, whether you're trying to pursue or go on a date or something, and they talk about your music with you? Is it flattering or cringy for you?
It depends the context. If I introduce myself as Shane and you call me Seven Sins, I'm probably gonna throw up. But if you're just complimenting the music or you're just asking me genuine questions, I'm like, of course, I love that. Like, this is my life. This is what I do. But definitely in some scenarios, I'm like, I'd prefer if we just didn't talk about it right now.
That's perfect. So I'm actually glad you mentioned it. Have you, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but trying to find your actual name on the internet is like almost impossible. Did you know that?
I think that's amazing. That's great. I know I do stalk myself on the internet sometimes just to see what people might be looking at, but no, I didn't know that. I figured it would be a lot easier because I mean, typically you could just go into the credits of any song and see it there. But maybe I'm outing myself now. I don't know.
I think you are. I mean, here's the thing, like, and I've been very open about this on the pod. Like, I try not to over deep dive into people when I have them on. Again, it's more so of like, I really do think that like media has not always been the friendliest to artists, specifically musical artists. I feel like everyone's always trying to like, let's see what controversial shit we can get them to say so that we can get the views. And so my intention when starting this was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to over deep dive, but I did find myself trying to find like, what is his name? Nowhere on Google. I would look at other posts. And again, I didn't do it too much, but I spent a good amount of time looking it up and I did it. So
Yeah, yeah. I did do something recently to like clear all my information off because I've had some strange experiences that made me feel like, you know what, maybe it's better if it's not as easily accessible.
damn, and here I am talking about your Yamaha, and like now people are going to like probably lose their shit over it.
No, they're like, what the fuck is a Lamborghini?
Right. So usually you tell an artist, you like to tell the people that you're interviewing or anything like that. Obviously, I'm having you on because I love your music and I love what you're doing, right? And going back to my journaling, I don't know why I came up with this, but I did come up with 7 things I did not like about you, and I'd love for you to
Mhm.
respond to them. Are you ready?
Yeah, no, please, I need this today.
The first one is we did not meet sooner. I was pissed. I'm like, I was so pissed we did not meet sooner.
I'm
And
I'm pissed about that too.
you fucking should be, honestly, because I'm fucking dope as shit. And I kid you not, when I first saw your photo, well, it wasn't a photo, it was a video. I was like, man, he looks like someone I literally probably have already met. But
Mm.
there was a vibe about you coming through the camera, which now I'm just sounding like a fucking creep. I promise I'm not. But I was like, damn, like he just looks like someone I maybe knew in a past life or something. I'm like, I've got to meet this kid. So I was so pissed we did not meet sooner.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling that as well. I'm feeling that as well. I think that I think that that's definitely something to be upset about. So that's valid. I appreciate that.
Hell yeah. The second thing I came up that I did not like about you is how late I was to the fucking party about your song Chemicals at
Mm.
1:47 a.m. Not good. I had it on repeat from 1:47 until I fell asleep. I did not know that song existed until recently. And I'm like, 1:47 a.m. for it to be that late at night to find a song that fucking deep and good. I was like in my feels.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably cried yourself to sleep that night. Like that's not a good time to find the song.
It's not a good time, but and also let me also toot your horn a little bit as to why I love that song. The more you listen to it, the more it's so open for interpretation. It can literally be about death, about a relationship, a breakup. It became a song that I was looping, going like, holy shit, like this is truly one of those songs that can be open to interpretation. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. And that's what I love about it too. I was talking to Alex who produced that song and co-wrote it with me. I was like, man, like I think that is the most beautiful part of this song. And I didn't really recognize that until I started posting it and the responses and the messages that I was getting. It ultimately became a lot more about grief. And some people, as you said, took it as just a relationship ending. And I think that that's the beautiful part about making music. That's all it is.
have you played that song live yet?
I have, yeah, a couple of times. It's so fun to play live. I always get a little emotional when I do it. It's like because it's just nice to see like how people have resonated with that song. And it's one of those that I'm like, maybe it's not the most popular song per se in my catalog, but it's one that people really, really appreciate. And that's all I can ask for.
I love that. I love that a lot. The third thing I have on my list of the seven things I don't like about you is you're fucking tall, dude. I am so short and I'm Hispanic. So how tall are you exactly?
I'm 6'4".
6'4"?
Yeah, so that's why I played basketball. I wasn't really built physically to be a musician, so we're still working on it.
I think you are more than built to be a musician, but this is not about complimenting you. These are things I don't like. So let me go back to my list. It's funny. The fourth one was you played basketball. So I was a sports junkie in school and I tried to be. I always was like, I'm going to do cross country, I'm going to do volleyball, I'm going to do soccer. Basketball, for the most obvious reasons, I did not give it a shot. So I was very envious when I found out that you were a basketball
Mm,
player.
I understand that. And to be fair, I tried cross country and I was not good at that though. I was definitely more of a quick sprint kind of guy rather than running long distance. That never really worked out for me. And to now, holy fuck, I'll walk up the stairs and after a couple flights, I'll be like,
You're
so
like, I need an inhaler now.
yeah, honestly. Sometimes I gotta keep it with me.
The fifth thing I have on the list is you can dye your hair so much and you haven't gone bald yet. How long have you been dyeing your hair?
A long time. A long time. At least 4 years now. And I'm always scared because I feel like when I get older, half of my head is gonna be bald and the other half of my head is gonna have hair because I don't put any bleach on this side. My natural color is a little bit lighter than the black, but this side is fried. You can even see now it's curly here, it's flat here. It's coming. It's coming. So
I'm sure you'll rock the one-sided bald look when the time does come.
we'll do a little comb over. It'll be fine.
Do you feel like dyeing your hair for so long, like, which is also my number six on the
Mhm.
list, is that you can, in my opinion, you can pull off any fucking color you want. Like, I think I saw you've done some reds or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think I could pull off anything else. I look back at those images and I wish that like my other information is gone from the internet. I don't want anybody seeing those pictures anymore. And I think about all the time, like maybe I'm due for a change. Maybe I should switch it up because I've had this for so long. But then I'm like, I don't know if I would probably have like an out of body experience if I saw myself with different hair at this point. It's scary, but I definitely want to do it. soon enough.
Well, I mean, it's obviously healthy hair. Like, what's your ethnicity? Like, are you like, what's your background?
I'm Russian and Polish. I don't know if that correlates with good hair, but my family members, though, they all have pretty good hair. So I don't think they dyed half their head, though. So I'll be the test subject there.
We'll find out. All I know is that I was going through some older photos, and my first thought was, man, like, I wish I could dye my hair in different colors and not look like a lesbian with bad taste. So I was very jealous of that. So you're doing good. Don't stop dyeing your hair now. The seventh thing I have on my list is you can say, am I making you mad? Without actually making me mad. Did you intend for that lyric to be, like those phrases in just in general where people are like, or like when someone tells someone, chill out, bro, and you're pissed, and it's like, it just makes you even more pissed off?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
there intention to that?
I think that's exactly what it was. I think that song is just very much a fuck you. I don't think I've ever actually said to anybody, "Am I making you mad?" But I'm sure if somebody said that to me, I would be like, "Yeah, you're pissing me the fuck off right now." Like what? So yeah, that was the intent. That was the intent, and I'm glad people are just taking that in and just letting their ex know. Am I making you mad? Am I pissing you off right now?
You are, listen, you are pulling it all off. Like, I think this is why I was like so in my head about talking with you. It was just for the simple fact that I felt like you were pulling everything that you had been doing up until this point. You've been pulling it off. Like, you were pulling off pop punk, you were pulling off hip hop and punk, like all of it. And so I think that's why that was one of the things on my list where I'm like, man, well, he's definitely one that could be like, calm down or chill out. And I would actually do that and not get heated. So
I love that. I love that.
you mentioned talking about your circle, your support system. One, I thought it was really fucking cool that I did also notice how far back some of the people that you've been working with, they've been riding with you for a minute. I think that is just a huge, not just a testament to what you're doing, but also like how people want to work with you. And I think that's just very hard to find, especially in this industry, dude. Like no one likes to stick around, right? Everyone likes to kind of make their buck or kind of do what it is they wanted to do and then move on, right? So the only person I know that's in that circle is obviously Chuck.
Hmm.
And obviously, he's the one that kind of helped set this up. And so I was, very grateful for that. So, something I wanted to do to shout him out and show just how grateful I was for him to set this up for me. First of all, so that I don't get it wrong, he is like a manager and also a music producer. Like, he does stuff with music as well, correct?
Yeah, yeah. And he took a long break from producing, but he's finally starting to get his feet wet again, which is exciting. But yes, yes.
Well, there was no way I would have known that. So I guess this is the perfect way to introduce him back into it. So, Chuck on the beat, he's a manager, he's a producer. It gave me music vibes, right? Chuck on the film, if that would have been his Instagram name or his Instagram handle, what do you think Chuck would name a movie about you?
You got me stumped there for a second.
You're you're
Chuck,
welcome.
hold on. Stand by. Stand by. If Chuck was Chuck on the film and he produced a movie about me, it would just probably be like something along the lines of like my dumbass little brother or like
So he call you a dumbass a lot?
no, but I definitely feel that that's the dynamic. Oh, no, it would be called Don't Worry About It. And Chuck, you'll understand why it's called Don't Worry About It. Every single time I tell Chuck, don't worry about it. It's probably something to worry about. I feel like I should have gotten that one a little bit faster, but there you go, Chuck.
That's all right. We've got just one more, so you're good. You're good. So we already have Chuck on the beat, Chuck on the film.
Mhm.
Now we're going to go to Chuck on the streets. If Chuck was a pimp, what would his street name be? And I'll tell you the name I came up for him after yours.
Be Milkman.
Milkman.
Can be no pain.
I picked Chucky. That's what I picked. I just picked
Ducky.
Chucky.
I like that too. I like that. I like that.
Awesome. Well, shout out to Chuck for one, not only just making this happen, but he was someone that I noticed he had gone a lot further back with you in your journey. And I
Yeah.
think that we have got to start promoting the people behind us who really do believe in us when we flop, when we don't believe in ourselves. I think we don't often give enough credit for that. And I think when you find a solid group, someone who rides with you at your worst, at your best, we just have to hold on to them a little tighter. So Chuck is one of those, in my opinion.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. He and Prime as well have been more than just managers to me, you know. I think that managers come and go, but people like that are definitely the foundation for something to be successful.
For sure. Unless from now until the episode airs, if any of them drop off, just let me know and I'll cut them the fuck out
Yeah,
of this
I'll
episode.
let you know. I'll let you know anything's possible. Anything's possible.
No, I highly doubt it. You seem like someone people do want to work with, and I think you're obviously creating a very good, healthy environment. And a lot of artists, this shit can truly get to their heads. And I think for from an outsider looking in, you've had some great successes. Your streamings don't look like they're fucking hurting. So for you to be able to still maintain that core, group, I think says a lot about you. So
I'm very blessed and very fortunate. Absolutely.
for sure. The next thing I have for you is, do you by any chance know all the seven sins?
For the most part, yeah. I get this question a lot and I have to give myself a little refresher because that's not the reason I had originally named myself Seven Sins. So I'll try to keep up here though.
No, you'll be fine. It won't be a quiz like that, I promise. So you won't have to
Okay.
come up with one. Your name did come from gaming, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I do. I remember reading something about that. So I didn't want to ask you again. So we're not doing that.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to go through the list of the seven sins and ask you a question related to that sin. And
Sure.
let's just vibe off of that. So
Beautiful.
the first one is pride. Who checks you when you're being too prideful?
Oh, Chuck. Chuck does all the time. I love that. That correlated well. Yeah, all the time. Chuck will just be like, bro, chill the fuck out, relax. And I'm like, okay.
I love, is he the one person that can check you and you actually listen versus any other person that tries to check you and
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
nah?
Because he's like when you think of that one person in your life who is like genuinely just wholesome as fuck and like will never talk bad on another person, will never say anything negative about a situation, that's him. So I know that when he does say something that feels critical, it is definitely true.
I love that. Damn, shout out to Chuck again.
I know, I know. You gotta interview Chuck next.
There you go. I think that's going to be my next move. It's going to have to be. I mean, here I am name dropping him like he's fucking Jesus or something. The second one I have is greed. When's the last time you were a selfish bitch? This does not have to be a negative thing. Like, when did you treat yourself?
I think I have an issue with door dashing. You know, I love eating out and
No pun
sometimes
intended.
love that shit too. But I always will be there on the weekend sitting on my couch and I'm like, I know that I just went grocery shopping. I know that I have a fridge full of food, but like do that or I could go get some Chipotle delivered right now. Like it's a no-brainer sometimes. And that fucks me up because I'm like, dude, you don't got it like that. You can't do that every day, but I do it like I do.
Not yet. You'll have a private chef soon. I can feel it.
Hopefully. Hopefully. I'll probably still DoorDash at that point though.
The third thing I have on here is wrath. When you think of turning wrath into something beautiful, what project of yours comes to mind?
I think this EP, absolutely. Like that was the first time I was finally able to like take everything and put it together into something that felt semi-cohesive. And that felt there was a couple records on that project that I was like I felt like I got it out. Another one too would be Wake Up. Wake Up was like the explicit version of making you mad.
I love that. Do you feel like that's something that just happens organically with your work? Like you're able to take something so negative. Like I know you've talked about like mental health, you've talked about all of this stuff, but have you realized that that could be also one of your greatest gifts is that you're able to take something so bad and make something so good out of it?
I think that that is like the only reason I'm able to function on a day-to-day basis because the way that music allows me to cope healthily and not destroy myself when I feel like shit is the greatest gift of all. I'm able to just take those bad feelings and put them into something that's not only going to help me, but it's going to help other people.
It's so fascinating to me too because I feel like I've come to learn this and obviously I've got some ages on you. I'm a little bit older than you, but I think that's something I've noticed in this industry, whether it was on the choreographer side or working with just athletes. I used to work with a lot of athletes as well, is it's always the people that I feel like they don't necessarily know that it's a beautiful gift that they have. They don't know how to like equate that to their success, if that makes sense. Like it's almost like they're blinded to it and they just don't see what we see from the outside. And it doesn't mean that you're robbing yourself from that experience or from using your talent, but I have noticed that it's always the people that have the most to give who are so selfless and they're just sharing their gift with the world. And it's always the people that I'm like, you're not that talented who like treat people like shit, if that makes sense.
Sure, sure. I mean, I think it's just all about doing it for the right reasons, you know? And you have to remind yourself of that. Like you said this at the beginning about just like being unsure of yourself. And I deal with that on a day-to-day basis. I don't think there's a night I go to sleep where I'm not replaying everything in my head or thinking way in advance about what I want to do and comparing yourself to other people who are doing better than you. I mean, it's like as much as people say, you need to truly not give a fuck. I think I've realized that it's impossible to feel that way. And the best thing you can do is try your best. And that's it. That's literally it, because that's always there. It's always there. But taking a step forward when you're feeling that way is where you see monumental progress.
For sure. And I find that so refreshing that you say that. It's so funny. That's literally what I had next with one of the seven sins being envy. Crazy that you touched on this just on your own, because I do feel like even with podcasting, right? Like I remember starting this in a time frame, and this is just 6 months ago, and thinking like, man, like there are so many people out there with bigger platforms. They've had viral success. Their streaming numbers are so much better. And you play this game of comparison. And some people would think that it comes from an insecure place, but I do think that sometimes when you care about your craft so much, of course, you're not going to bed not replaying what you could have done better because you are respecting your craft.
Absolutely. I think the only time where that's going to impact you negatively is when you're being complacent about it and you're just sitting there and you're like, why is this not me? And you're just not doing anything to get there. As long as you're making the sacrifices you need to make to see progress and you're putting your heart into your craft, it's gonna get there. The only time it doesn't is when people stop. And that's what I've realized. I've met so many other artists or songwriters or producers over the last few years who are extremely talented. And the only reason that they're not doing something bigger than themselves right now is because they stopped doing it. That's it.
1000%. Man, this is just so humbling for me also because I feel like that's definitely like the stage that I had been in recently. I had been doing a lot of comparing to other podcasters and figuring out like, man, like what am I doing wrong? Where like I'm not getting a viral moment. Like I'll post clips that I'm like, wow, like what they had to say was so valuable and yet no viral moment. And then it finally dawned on me, dude, where I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I may have not had a viral moment. And yet so many people think that I've used choreography and connections I made in the industry as a way to have certain guests on the podcast. And little do a lot of people know that I've yet to ask for favors. I grew up in LA and my mom worked with some phenomenal people and I haven't used any favors. I literally am putting in the groundwork by myself. And then I finally had this realization, which is why this episode for me was very special, was because before I got the confidence to write someone like you, I had this moment of like, wake the fuck up, bro. Like you've connected with someone like Brooke Hogan, you've connected with someone like Matt Sarafa. The milestones I have hit in 6 months without a viral moment is fucking out of this world. The amount of countries I have on my portfolio without a viral moment is out of this world. And so to hear someone like you talk about that, I'm just like, man, just keep fucking going. Just keep showing
Thank
up.
you. And that's awesome. And I'll leave you with this too. I don't care to work with people based on their accolades. I think that people who do solely care about that are the people who are not in it to just make or create good work in general. On my behalf, at least like in this specific situation, like I was really keen to do this because I enjoyed what you have to bring to the table. I think you're doing a great fucking job. I mean, I could be doing something with a platform much bigger and they could sit there and ask me questions like how did you get your name? What inspires you to make music? How do you feel about this song? But you're not doing that. And so I think that that's it. You just have to remind yourself that like you're bringing something different to the table and you're working with good people and creating good things. And that's what gets there.
I appreciate that more than you will ever truly know, dude, because like that is also something that took me a minute to realize. It's like some of my guests that have been on, I go back and I'm like, look at how many podcasts they've done or how many appearances they've done. And I'm like, and yet whether it's topics or whether it's like a little video promo I make for them, I'm like, no one's made them that. So I appreciate that. It's a good reminder. And I think that's a good reminder to keep putting out too. It's not about the numbers, it's not about the followers, it's truly about intention. So appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next thing I have for you, now that we just had this really sweet moment, I'm just so over the moon. Thank you so much. The next thing I have for you is lust. What is a physical feature that makes you fucking weak?
Oh God. How do I approach this in a positive way? I like nice eyes. Nice eyes are good. That's one.
That's
Nice eyes.
definitely a good one.
I like nice eyes. I like blonde hair, you know?
Why are you smiling like that? Why are you like,
I think one, I'm trying not to say anything too awful here, but also I'm trying to describe my girlfriend, so that's probably a good first step.
done? That's all you had to say. She is what lust is all about.
Everything. Everything.
Absolutely. When it comes to gluttony, a saying I came up with a really long time ago is when I eat something good, I always say, oh, I fat bitch that. So that's just kind
Mm,
of my thing. So I wanted to
mm.
ask you, what is something that you eat, you can fat bitch it every single day?
Pasta.
Pasta.
I'm gonna fuck that shit up. Give me a bowl of pasta, it's gone. If I have pasta yesterday, I'm gonna eat it today. I'll still eat it today. I'll eat that shit tomorrow. There's something about pasta, and I actually found this really interesting. I saw something. There was a study recently that pasta correlates with happiness. People are physically happier. It's scientifically proven that you're happier when you eat pasta, and it makes sense. That's why I love it so much. So I'm gonna fat bitch pasta until the day that I die, and that's it.
Hell yeah. Next time I have pasta, I'm going to be thinking of you. I'm going to be like,
Yeah,
fat bitch and
please.
pasta for 7. The last one is sloth. What is something that makes you just completely drag ass?
Think going to the gym. I've been trying lately to like really get myself back there. I gotta go today at some point. But when I don't go or like I'm putting it off in the day, the whole time I'm sitting there and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? It also goes hand in hand with this too, but scrolling on TikTok, I have some serious brain rot. I love TikTok, but holy shit. It's true when people say, like, you sit there, you start scrolling, and then 2 hours later, you're like, I'm still scrolling. What the fuck just happened? Remind me, I need to go to the gym after this.
Did you by any chance ever play Angry Birds?
I did. I did. I loved Angry Bird.
I just saw the gnarliest conspiracy theory yesterday about how introducing us to Angry Birds was the way to introduce us to a platform like TikTok because of the
Mhm.
scrolling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I used to fuck up Angry Birds. There was another game like that too. Temple Run. Temple
Yes.
Run was another one where you would like, yeah, holy shit. I remember I was like, I mean, you're probably gonna be like, holy fuck, you were that young, but I think I was like maybe like 9 years old when those games were out. And I had my big iPad. It was the first time I ever got a device. That was also the first time I started listening to music because I had iTunes and I was like on there all day, just swiping, swiping, swiping. So it makes sense. Here we are now.
Amazing. It has been such a fucking pleasure getting to talk to you. Thanks for going along with my shenanigans and shooting this shit about, questions that aren't very traditional to interviews. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that a lot.
No, thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
I hope it was fun because if it wasn't fun for you, it was fun for me. So I'm posting it anyway.
Oh, I
So,
love it. I love it. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
no, of course. Take care. Best of luck with everything that you're doing. Making You Mad is such a fucking awesome song. I mean, I'm not going to go and list all the songs I love because then we'll be here for another hour. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. And likewise to you. Keep killing it. Keep doing your thing, please.
We will, and I know you will too. I can feel it. I feel like that's definitely one of my hidden gifts is I've been able to truly align myself with people that I probably see them further than what they're capable of seeing. And I'm working on doing that with myself, but you were on my radar for that reason. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Well, take care of yourself. Go get a fucking workout, eat some
Thank
pasta.
you. Thank you. That's it. That's it.
Exactly. Well, take care. Have a good rest of your day, man.
Thank you. You as well.
Alrighty, bye. Hey, if you've made it this far, don't forget to follow the socials on the screen or in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next week.